Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Top 10 Songs. Today we're going to tackle the band Chicago. I also want to wish everybody a Happy New Year. Welcome to 2019. So some of you might be saying, so why the hell is this hard rock, metal, and prog guy doing a Top 10 Songs on Chicago? Well, if you're asking that question, obviously you haven't heard the classic 70s Chicago material, because if you have, then you probably wouldn't be asking that question, because let's face it, that early Chicago stuff is damn good. It's really good. Forget like the 80s hit machine that they became, all those sappy ballads and stuff. I'm not going to talk about any of those, and I'm not saying that there aren't some good tracks in some of those big huge albums that they did in the 80s, but that's not the best stuff in my opinion. In my opinion, from that first album all the way through to, right about 1979 or so, there's some great material there, and more than enough material to make up a red-hot top 10 and some honorable mentions. So let's get started. So coming in at number 10 for me comes from their Chicago 7 album, which is was at the time a little bit of a departure. It's a very jazzy album. In fact, there's some pretty ripping jazz fusion on there. But my number 10 is actually the one semi-hit on the album, and actually a really good song that's kind of like a dreamy ballad, and in the end kind of kicks it up, rocks a bit, and I just always really liked it a lot. It's called I've Been Searching So Long. Really, really good tune. Again, from an album that was pretty inaccessible, I'd say, compared to a few of the albums that came before it, because by this time, by the 7th album, Chicago had a number of big selling hits, but they still kind of had their identity of their older, more adventurous material. But that 7th album specifically is very jazzy, a lot of instrumentals on there, and that was like the lone hit. Really good tune, I like it a lot. Coming in at number 9 off the Chicago 6 album, Feeling Stronger Every Day. Just a really good, uplifting pop rock tune with great horns, great chorus, great vocals. I mean, just, this band just had all, Peter Cetera and Robert Lamb and Terry Kath all sang, and they were just great instrumentalists. And that's just a great driving, feel-good song. Of course, Feeling Stronger Every Day. Of course, it's a feel-good song. So that comes in at number 9. Coming in at number 8. Off the debut Chicago Transit Authority, which is one of my favorite albums, definitely my favorite album by the band. I love those first 2 albums. I think they're untouchable. And you're going to see a few Chicago Transit Authority songs in my top 10, but the song Beginnings, which I think is another one of those kind of like unforgettable Chicago tunes that just, man, the melodies are just so great. The instrumentation is so good. Just an unforgettable tune. And one that I've loved for ages and ages and ages. Just Beginnings. Yeah, such a great song. That's number 8. Coming in at number 7. On Chicago's 2nd and 3rd album, they did a lot of these long extended suites, right? Which are basically, instrumental tracks and vocal tracks, kind of mini themes. But each one has like songs that can be separated into actual tracks and what have you. I decided for this one, because I like so much of this extended suite, and again, I forget how many tracks it's broken down into. It's at least 5 or 6. It works so well as one extended piece that I had to just pick it. I'm talking about Ballet for a Girl in Buchanan from Chicago's 2nd album. It's just amazing stuff. The arrangements are just so good. And again, you can pull out some of the tracks that are in there, but, Make Me Smile, I'm sure most people know that they pulled that track out of there. It's like a 2.5-minute long, great rocker, just with amazingly addicting melodies and vocals on it. But I didn't want to start picking apart the whole piece because it works so well from start to finish. I mean, man, that early Chicago stuff, very proggy, very jazzy. So Ballet for a Girl in Buchanan, all whatever, 15, 20 minutes long of it, comes in at number 7. Coming in at number 6, off of another favorite album of mine, Chicago 5, Dialogue Part 1 and 2. Again, they're kind of separate tracks, but they work. They segue together, and they work so well together. As far as I'm concerned, it's all dialogue, right? Whether you like part 1 or part 2 better, or you think of it as one whole. I always think of it as one whole, so that's how I'm putting it in my list, because it's my list. I can do it. So Dialogue, just great funky guitars and just really good rocker, great horns, the whole 9 yards. Coming in at number 5, might be a surprise for some of you, but it's a song from Chicago's 8th album, which was, they're starting to move towards much, much more accessible material. But I always really liked this song. Peter Cetera always hated this song. I don't know if the band ever played it live more than like once or twice. I think they performed it on a TV show once. I always liked it. I think the vocals and the hooks are just incredible. I love the Harry Terry Kath guitar riffs at the beginning and a couple other times through the song. It's just such a really good song. It's a great anthem. Old Days. Love Old Days. Okay? Comes in at number 5. All right, so here we get to the stuff, the really cool stuff. Number 4, probably their biggest hit. Well, arguably, you know what? Their longest running FM staple. I don't think it was their biggest hit from the early part of their career. And quite frankly, a unforgettable tune as far as like showing the world that Terry Kath was a guitar god in the making, even though I think he had more incredible stuff on the first album. But from the second album, 25 or 6 to 4, again, a tune we've all heard a ton, but it's just a great rock tune, heavy rock tune with some smoking wah-wah guitars from Terry Kath, one of the most underrated guitarists ever. Man, is he missed. I'm telling you, what a great player. So that comes in at number 4. Coming in at number 3. In fact, all these next 3 tracks are from their first album. If I could have just done my top 10 of Chicago with the entire first album, I could have done that, but that would have been too damn easy. And quite frankly, that's kind of ridiculous, right? As great as it is. So coming in at number 3, South California Purples, just a great heavy rock song, but with smoking guitars and smoking horns. Just awesome. Just love that song. Again, if you've never listened to the Chicago Transit Authority album, that's their debut. It's got some of the hottest guitar playing of the late 60s. I'm telling you right now. Just it's essentially a guitar album with loads of horns. So I can't recommend it highly enough. So that's coming at number 3. Coming in at number 2 is actually a cover song from them, or by them, I should say. That was originally done by the Spencer Davis Group, but I personally think that Chicago's version of it is even better. It's red hot, it's funky, it's hard rocking. I'm a Man. Yes, I am. It's so awesome. In fact, I was just listening to it again before we went on the air here. It's just amazing how good of a job that Chicago did on that song. Just really, really good. Great guitar work, got a drum solo in it. It's just awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Got the percussion going. Great stuff. Coming in at number 1. And again, some of you might be like, oh, you're picking all these obscure songs here. Possibly, but I love these songs. And my number 1 choice is just a tour de force from Terry Kath. It's got, I think the song starts with basically, it's like a 4 or 5 minute long guitar solo. And then it just launches into this great kind of funky hard rocker. I'm talking about Poem 58. Man, those guitar solos in the beginning of that song are just mind-blowing. Totally mind-blowing. There's a reason why Jimi Hendrix once said in an interview that one of his favorite guitar players alive was Terry Kath. This guy was so great. So great. And he could sing up a storm, too. So Poem 58 gets my pick at number 1. So honorable mentions, why don't we? So let's go back all the way to the beginning, and I'm basically going to stop at the Hot Streets album because, like I said, there's some good songs, obviously, in their big hit albums, but I prefer all the older stuff, and that's where all my favorite stuff is from. So I'm not going to go into all those later albums. So let's start off with the Chicago Transit Authority album. How about Introduction, the kickoff tune? Great, great song. I kind of wanted to squeeze that in there somewhere. It's my top 10. Does anybody really know what time it is? Their first real big hit. That's a great tune, no matter what you think. A really great song. Questions 67 and 68, another song that I really wanted to get into my top 10, but again, I couldn't just do a top 10 of all the first album, right? It just didn't make sense. Listen's a great song. And how about Liberation, which is just like this long, 15-minute jam with another ridiculously long Terry Kath guitar solo. In fact, if you want to hear one of the greatest wah-wah guitar solos of all time, you might think it's in 25 or 6 to 4. It's actually in Liberation. Check it out, I'm telling you. Amazing. From Chicago, too, how about Moving In? How about The Road? Poem for the People is another great one. In the Country, Fancy Colors. What a cool, fun little tune that is. From the third album, Sing a Mean Tune Kid. Great song. Loneliness is just a word, right? What else can I say? It's pretty strong. I Don't Want Your Money. Really good hard rocker. How about the Travel Suite? Another extended piece, right? Because they were really doing a lot of that stuff on those early albums. But specifically from within Travel Piece, how about that song Free? A great funky hard rocker, right? Mother's a great song. How about An Hour in the Shower? Another long extended jazzy piece. Fantastic stuff. From the fifth album, A Hit by Varese. Another tune that I really wanted to include in my top 10. I love that song. All Is Well, another great one. Now That You've Gone, that was a fairly big hit for them. While the City Sleeps, another kind of cool horn-driven hard rocker. Saturday in the Park, it's a great tune, great pop tune. State of the Union, another really, really great song. From the sixth album, and I really like this ballad a lot, Just You and Me. It's a beautiful song. Really good. I love the early ballad stuff from Chicago because they would, they would put like one, maybe two in per album. The rest of the album was all, like rockers and more adventurous stuff, as opposed to the '80s where every song was a ballad, right? How about What's This World Coming To? Another great one from the sixth album. From the seventh album, again that real jazzy album. How about Devil's Suite, which is another extended piece, total jazz fusion. If you're a jazz fusion nut and love Return to Forever, Weather Report, Miles Davis, Mahavishnu Orchestra, Lifetime, all that kind of stuff, Brand X. Definitely give Chicago's seventh album a shot. It's got a lot of material that kind of falls into that bracket, right? Lifesaver, another good one from that album. Mongonucleosis, another good one. A lot of really good tunes on the seventh album. From the eighth album, how about Never Been in Love Before? I like that tune, another really good ballad. Hideaway, great hard rocker from Peter Cetera. In fact, might be one of their hardest rocking tunes. Really good. And how about Oh Thank You, Great Spirit, with Terry Kath doing some ridiculously Jimi Hendrix-y guitar solos and passages. Really, really great stuff. From the 10th album, Chicago X, how about Once or Twice? That's a good kind of funky rocker, more of their late 70s stuff, a lot more funk happening. If You Leave Me Now, that's actually a really, really good pop ballad. Always like that song a lot. And again, one of those tunes that just was kind of thrown into the album at the last minute. They needed a track, and huge hit for them. Scrapbook. Scrapbook is a great tune. Great rock and roll tune from them. From XI, the 11th album, how about Baby What a Big Surprise? It's you can't beat these songs. Taking It on the Uptown. Great hard rocker from the band. Mississippi Delta City Blues. Another great tune. And from the Hot Streets album, this is where things kind of start to get kind of blah. A couple good tunes on here, but I like Ain't It Time. There's another good hard rocker from the band. So there you have it. A lot of really good honorable mentions from Chicago. Could have done a lot more if I didn't mention your favorite. I'm sorry, I can't just mention every song. I just kind of picked out some of my favorites from these albums. So if you didn't hear what you really like, just tell us your favorites in the comments and feedback below. We'd like to see everybody else's favorites. So let's run down the top 10 right away. So Poem 58 coming in at number 1. I'm a Man coming in at number 2. Number 3, South California Purples. Number 4, 25 or 6 to 4. Number 5, Old Days. Number 6, Dialogue, parts 1 and 2 together. Number 7, Ballet for a Girl in Buchanan, the whole damn thing. Number 8, Beginnings, off the first album. Number 9, Feeling Stronger Every Day. And number 10, I've Been Searching So Long. That's our top 10 from the great American Rock and Roll Hall of Fame band Chicago. Again, top 10 mostly from the old stuff because, I'm not as big on the 80s and above. There's some good stuff splattered all over the place, but I think that the best Chicago stuff is the early stuff, and those are my favorites. So hope you like that. We got lots more good stuff coming up, a lot more top 10. Got some deep cuts on classic albums that I'm putting in the works. I got a rant coming up, all sorts of stuff. So tune in, and we'll see you next time. Take care.